The academy floated among the stars like a jewel. Its halls were bright with alien designs, strange symbols, and the hum of countless voices speaking dozens of languages. Every corner carried the promise of learning, but also competition. Students from different planets, different cultures, and different worlds had gathered here to test their intelligence, skill, and courage among them. Humans were a small minority. Most of the other species considered humans fragile, unprepared, and easy to dominate. That assumption had always amused those who truly knew the human colonies, far from the civilized core worlds. They understood that humans had grown up in places no one else would survive. Places called Deathworlds. Kara stepped onto the polished floor of the academy for the first time. Her boots clicked softly. She looked around, taking in the soaring ceilings and the holographic panels that shifted in color and shape. Aliens of all shapes and sizes stared at her tentacles, wings, multiple eyes, scales, fur. Some whispered. Some laughed quietly. Some simply ignored her, focused on their own worlds and thoughts. Kara had grown up in a harsh environment far from the safety of normal human colonies. Her home world had oceans that could swallow entire cities, deserts that burned like fire under a sun that never set, and forests that could tear a person apart in moments. She had learned to fight, to think, to survive, and to stay calm in every situation. Fear had never been an option, and today, it wasn't going to be either. Her first class was in a large room with a high ceiling, filled with students from dozens of species. Their eyes followed her as she entered. A tall alien with shimmering green scales muttered something in his language, loud enough for her to hear. A human. They will never last here. Kara smiled faintly and walked to her seat. She didn't answer. She didn't need to. Words were often useless against prejudice. Actions would speak louder. The teacher, a silver-skinned alien with 3 eyes, began the lesson. Today, we study combat strategies and defensive techniques. Understanding how to protect oneself is as important as understanding one's mind. Aliens round the room nodded and murmured in agreement. Many of them carried small weapons or tools, some as symbols of status, others as practical instruments of defense. Humans were the only ones without any. Kara didn't carry a weapon either, but she had her instincts. She had trained her body and mind for years to survive worlds that would have killed an ordinary student before breakfast. A commotion at the back of the room drew her attention. One of the larger alien students, a muscular creature with dark, ridged skin named Vrek, stood up and reached into his bag. He pulled out a small, sharp knife with intricate carvings along the blade. The room fell silent. Some students leaned forward, curious. Others backed away, nervous. Vrek's eyes glinted with arrogance. "Let's see if this human girl has the courage she claims to have," he said, holding the knife up. The other aliens laughed, some softly, some louder. They expected Kara to jump, to shrink back, to show fear. It was the human way, they assumed. Fear, after all, was common to their fragile species. Kara simply smiled. She didn't move. She didn't flinch. She just continued taking notes, her pen scratching quietly against her pad. The laughter faltered. Whispers started. Some of the alien students exchanged uncertain looks. The knife, once a symbol of intimidation, suddenly felt smaller in Kara's calm presence. Vrek's expression changed from amusement to confusion. He waved the knife closer to her, a test this time, but Kara didn't look up. Her eyes stayed on her notes. She wrote carefully, thoughtfully. The faint smile on her lips did not waver. "Is she afraid?" One of the smaller aliens whispered. Another shook their head. "I don't think so. She doesn't act like a human scared of a weapon." "That's different." Vrek's confidence wavered. He had never seen a human respond to threat this way. Usually, their fear was obvious, their hesitation complete. But Kara, this human, was still, calm, and somehow UMBOTHE or ED. Finally, Vrek lowered the knife. His hand trembled slightly. You're not scared?" he asked, genuinely puzzled. Kara looked up from her notes, meeting his eyes. Her smile remained gentle, almost teasing. "Why should I be?" she asked softly. The room went silent. No one knew how to respond. Vrek stared at her, unsure if she was mocking him or if she truly did not fear him. Kara returned to her notes as if nothing had happened. The teacher, noticing the tension, stepped forward. "Fear is natural," they said, their three eyes shifting thoughtfully. "But control over fear is strength. Strength is not only physical. Courage without panic is the mark of the wise." Kara's classmates watched her closely after that. Some tried to hide their admiration. Others were openly impressed. They had expected a human to tremble, to stumble, to fail in the first encounter with intimidation. They had been wrong. After class, students lingered, talking quietly about what had just happened. Kara walked down the hall with her usual calm stride. Some aliens tried to avoid eye contact, still wary. Others, braver or more curious, glanced at her. A student with feathers and golden eyes approached. "I'm Lyra," she said. I never thought a human could react like that. Most would have panicked." Kara tilted her head slightly. "I've lived on worlds that would have eaten most humans alive before breakfast," she said simply. Her voice was steady, matter of fact, with no trace of pride or boastfulness. Lyra's eyes widened. "Really? That explains a lot." Kara nodded slightly and continued walking. There were no more words needed. Actions had already spoken louder than any explanation. The hallways of the academy were busy, but Kara moved through them with ease. Her senses were alert. She noticed small details others missed, the faint scent of ozone from a nearby lab experiment, the soft vibrations of the floor from distant engines, the way shadows shifted as someone passed through the light. Everything was data. Everything could be used if needed. By the time she reached her dormitory, word of the knife incident had spread. Other students whispered, exchanged theories, and debated quietly. Kara, meanwhile, unpacked her simple belongings, a few clothes, her notebooks, a small personal data device. No weapons, no gadgets, just her mind and her skills. That was all she needed. That night, Kara sat by the window of her dorm, looking out at the stars. The academy floated like a silent guardian in the void, and she felt no fear. Every challenge ahead, every test, every confrontation was another chance to learn, to grow, to survive. She knew one thing clearly: the galaxy expected humans to be weak. That was their mistake, and she, from her quiet corner of the stars, was ready to prove it. The sun of the Academy's artificial star rose slowly over the horizon of the training grounds. Its light shimmered against the metal towers, the glass corridors, and the open arenas where students from dozens of species would soon test their skills. Kara walked quietly through the grounds, her boots leaving soft impressions on the polished surface. Today, she knew, would be a test not only of skill, but of courage and intelligence. The practical combat exercise had been announced the day before, and rumors had already spread. Many students whispered that the humans were unprepared for what was coming. Others were curious, still remembering the calmness Kara had shown when the knife had been revealed in class. Kara entered the large training arena, a dome that could simulate any environment. Right now, it glowed like a desert, with shifting sand and occasional gusts of artificial wind. Her classmates had gathered, already adjusting their equipment. Some carried light weapons, some heavy. Some didn't carry anything at all. Kara carried nothing, only the training uniform she wore and the confidence she had cultivated on her Deathworld. The instructor, the silver-skinned alien with 3 eyes, floated to the center of the arena. "This exercise," they said, their voice echoing clearly, "will test your reflexes, your strategy, and your adaptability. You must move, you must anticipate, and you must survive. Those who underestimate the situation are those who will fail." A large alien with 4 arms laughed and tapped the side of his weapon. "This will be easy. Humans and a few other species are not built for combat. They will fail first." Kara didn't reply. She stood silently at the edge of the arena, studying her opponents. She noted their movements, their stances, the way their eyes shifted when they thought no one was watching. Her mind worked like a calm machine, calculating, predicting, observing. The signal was given, and the exercise began. Immediately, chaos erupted. Aliens lunged, darted, and tested each other. Some moved with incredible speed, others with sheer strength. Kara stayed in the back for the first moments, analyzing patterns. She noticed how the four-armed alien favored wide, sweeping attacks but was slow to adjust if someone moved unpredictably. She saw how the smaller, winged aliens tried to take advantage of height and speed, relying on their flight to stay safe. Then it was her turn. A creature twice her size moved toward her, a whip-like weapon in hand. Most humans would have jumped back, screamed, or hesitated. Kara simply shifted her weight, sidestepping with smooth precision. The whip's tip struck the ground where she had been standing a moment ago, sending a small cloud of sand swirling. The alien blinked, confused. Kara smiled faintly and moved again, keeping a careful balance of distance and timing. She noticed her opponent's rhythm, the way he paused for a fraction of a second before striking. That fraction of a second was all she needed. With a quick movement, Kara stepped to the side, letting the whip miss, and then tapped her opponent on the shoulder with just enough force to signal the exercise's point system. The alien froze, surprised. For a moment, the crowd was silent. Then murmurs spread. This human girl didn't fight like anyone they had trained with. She was not fast in the way they expected, not strong in the way they expected, but she was precise, unpredictable, and calm. Next, a winged student tried to attack from above. Kara adjusted her position, timing her movements with care. When the alien swooped down, she pivoted at the perfect moment, allowing him to pass safely before signaling her point. She moved like water flowing, unassuming, and almost effortless. Whispers spread through the arena. She's not just surviving, she's controlling the flow of the exercise. Some aliens tried to trap her, forming small groups and attempting coordinated attacks. Kara analyzed them calmly. She noticed the smallest gaps in their formation, the tiny signals they gave each other with their eyes or posture. When they moved, she moved. When they paused, she paused. She never rushed, never panicked. Her movements were deliberate. Her mind was clear. By the midpoint of the exercise, Kara had signaled points against almost every opponent she faced. Not through aggression, not through force, but through intelligence, timing, and awareness. One of the largest aliens, a hulking brute covered in thick armor, tried to corner her. His steps caused the floor to vibrate slightly. Most students would have been intimidated, or worse, trapped. Kara looked around quickly. She noticed a small piece of training equipment, a padded barrier near the edge of the arena. With one quick, precise step, she maneuvered herself between the alien and the barrier. As he lunged forward, she sidestepped again, letting him stumble slightly over the padding. The crowd gasped. The brute's confidence faltered. Even the instructor's three eyes widened slightly in approval. Kara's movements were not textbook, not predictable. They were human, unorthodox, creative, and highly effective. As the exercise continued, a pattern became clear. The aliens had relied on expectations, expecting humans to panic, to hesitate, to make mistakes. Kara did none of those things. She remained calm, calculated, and observant. And while others relied on strength, speed, or flight, she relied on her mind, her instincts, and her Deathworld training. One of the final rounds paired her with Vrek, the alien who had shown the knife the day before. He stepped forward confidently, wielding his long staff. "You may be lucky once," he said, "but you cannot outmatch me today." Kara looked at him, calm and collected. "I don't need luck," she said simply. They faced each other. Vrek lunged first, swinging his staff with power. Kara stepped lightly to the side, letting his attack pass harmlessly. She noticed his stance, his timing, and the slight delay between his movements. With a small pivot, she guided his momentum off balance. He stumbled but caught himself. The crowd leaned forward, amazed. The fight continued, a dance of prediction and observation. Vrek's strikes were powerful, precise, and aggressive. Kara didn't match strength with strength. She matched awareness with awareness, timing with timing. She used minimal movements, just enough to redirect his energy and signal points. Finally, with a careful step and a gentle push, she signaled the final point against him. Vrek froze, his staff lowering slowly. He stared at her, a mix of disbelief and respect in his eyes. "How?" he began, but no words could fully capture his astonishment. Kara smiled faintly. You fight well, she said quietly, but don't underestimate someone who has lived where survival is a daily test. The instructor's voice echoed across the arena. Exercise complete. Observation. One student's performance stands out today. Notice the calm, deliberate, and adaptable approach. Courage, observation, and intelligence can overcome raw power. The other students stared at Kara, some with awe, some with newfound respect. Humans were not weak. Humans were not fragile. Humans were different. And in this difference lay a quiet strength that many species had underestimated later. In the dormitory, Kara sat quietly, reflecting on the day. She had faced multiple opponents, each expecting her to fail. She had not only survived, but she had impressed, adapted, and succeeded. Her classmates began to approach her, curious and respectful. Lyra, the feathered student from the hallways, came forward again. I've never seen anyone move like you today. You think differently, Kara nodded. Thinking is part of surviving. On my world, mistakes are dangerous. Panic is dangerous. You learn to notice everything, to remain calm, and to act when the time is right. Lyra's golden eyes shone. I think humans are more than what we expected. You are inspiring. Kara smiled faintly. I'm just being prepared. The galaxy can be dangerous, but that doesn't mean we should fear it. We should learn from it, adapt, and face it head-on. The dorm room buzzed quietly with conversation as other students came to hear Kara's perspective. She didn't boast. She didn't show arrogance. She simply shared what she had learned through experience and survival. That night, Kara lay in her bunk, staring at the ceiling. She could hear the soft hum of the academy, the quiet breathing of other students, and the distant echo of the artificial wind in the training grounds. She thought about the upcoming days, the exercises, and the challenges ahead. She knew one truth clearly: the galaxy expected humans to fail. That expectation had been wrong today, and it would continue to be wrong, over and over again. Kara smiled to herself, a quiet, confident smile. The test had been completed. The lesson had been given, and the galaxy, little by little, was beginning to understand that humans were not weak, fragile, or easy to underestimate. They were something else entirely. The announcement echoed through the academy's corridors like a storm. A tournament was coming, a chance for students to show their skill, strategy, and courage. The tournament was not just for fun. It was prestigious, a way for the galaxy's best to see who truly excelled. Winning or even performing well could change a student's reputation forever. Kara had heard the whispers as soon as the announcement was made. Many alien students laughed quietly when they saw her. The human, one said, they will never last. The tournament is dangerous. Only those with true strength can survive it. Kara listened but said nothing. She had grown up on a death world, where every challenge was life or death. Harsh lands, fierce storms, poisonous creatures, and endless dangers had shaped her mind and body. The galaxy's words could not intimidate her. The day of the tournament arrived. The arena was enormous, bigger than any training ground Kara had entered before. Its walls were high, and holographic barriers could appear and disappear at a moment's notice. Platforms shifted, obstacles rose, and the environment could change to test a student's ability to adapt. Students from every species lined up. Some carried weapons, some shields, some strange tools of alien combat. Kara carried none. She had only herself, her instincts, and her mind. The first round began with smaller matches. Kara observed quietly, analyzing her opponents. Some relied on brute force, rushing forward without thinking. Others tried to anticipate her moves, assuming humans were predictable. But Kara was anything but predictable. Her first opponent was a medium-sized alien with 6 arms and jagged claws. He lunged immediately, expecting her to panic. Kara moved calmly, sidestepping, using his momentum against him. When he overreached, she tapped him lightly, signaling the point. The crowd murmured. They had expected humans to fail instantly. Kara had not only survived, she had won the first round. Next, Kara faced a winged alien who tried to use height to his advantage. He swooped down, aiming to intimidate her. Kara observed the shadows, the slight movement of the wind, and the angle of his approach. At the right moment, she stepped aside, letting him pass, then signaled the point with a gentle but precise movement. Again, she succeeded without panic or unnecessary force. Word spread quickly among the audience. Kara was unusual. Humans were not weak. Humans were different. The final rounds were the most dangerous. The arena shifted to a rocky terrain, uneven and treacherous. Artificial winds blew fiercely, and platforms moved underfoot. The largest aliens, known for their strength across multiple star systems, waited for her. Among them was Vrek, the student with the knife incident. Vrek approached first, towering over her. "Do you really think you can win against this?" he asked. His voice was calm, but carried the weight of experience. Kara looked up at him, her expression steady. "I don't think," she said simply. "I know." The fight began. Vrek moved with speed and power, swinging and thrusting with all the skill of a trained warrior. Most students would have panicked, tried to match him blow for blow, and failed. Kara did none of that. She watched, she waited, she calculated. She let his momentum guide her decisions, moving lightly and precisely, never overcommitting. She noticed small details, the way Vrek shifted his weight before a strike, the slight hesitation when he aimed at her left side, the rhythm of his breathing. Every detail was information. Every detail could be used. As the fight continued, Kara began using the arena itself. Rocks shifted underfoot, creating small obstacles for Vrek. A narrow ledge forced him to slow down. A holographic wall appeared at the perfect moment, which she used to redirect his path. She moved like water, flowing through every obstacle, adapting, surviving, and outmaneuvering him without ever striking aggressively. The spectators were on the edge of their seats. Many aliens had never seen anyone fight this way. Some whispered nervously, realizing that brute strength and intimidation were not the only measures of skill. Finally, Kara created an opening. Vrek lunged again, but she pivoted at the perfect moment, guiding him slightly off balance. He stumbled, and with a small, precise step, she signaled the point to win the match. Vrek froze, stunned. His confidence had been shattered, but he also understood something important. This human was unlike any opponent he had faced before. The next challenge was a paired match, where students had to work in teams. Kara was paired with another human, a boy from her Deathworld colony. Together, they faced a coordinated alien duo known for their aggressive tactics. The aliens attacked in sync, trying to corner them and control the arena. Kara whispered quickly to her teammate, "Watch their timing. Don't rush. Let them make mistakes." Her teammate nodded, trusting her instinct. They moved together like one mind, covering each other's weaknesses and exploiting every small gap. When the aliens overextended, Kara's team signaled points quickly, scoring consistently while avoiding danger. By the end of the round, the crowd erupted in cheers. Humans had not only survived, they had outsmarted, outmaneuvered, and impressed everyone. The final match was announced, a duel between Kara and the champion from another galaxy. This opponent was a massive alien known for victories across multiple systems. Many students assumed Kara had no chance. Even her own classmates were nervous. Kara stood calmly at the center of the arena. Her eyes scanned the environment. She noticed uneven platforms, the direction of the artificial wind, and the patterns of her opponent's breathing. She remembered every lesson from her Deathworld training. Patience, observation, and precision were stronger than brute force. The champion charged first, swinging with great power. Kara moved aside, letting the attack pass harmlessly. She noticed a narrow platform nearby and used it to change her angle. The champion lunged again, but Kara anticipated the movement, stepping lightly and signaling a point with a precise tap. The champion adjusted, striking faster, stronger, and with more cunning. Kara stayed calm. Each strike was a puzzle, each movement a clue. She adapted, using the terrain, timing, and intelligence to her advantage. The crowd watched, speechless. Finally, a subtle misstep from the champion gave Kara the opening she needed. She moved with perfect timing, guiding her opponent slightly off balance, and signaled the final point. The arena erupted. Aliens and humans alike stared in disbelief. The champion nodded, acknowledging Kara's skill with respect. Kara's calm smile remained unchanged. She had not shouted. She had not boasted. She had simply relied on her training, her observation, and her courage later. As students filed out of the arena, whispers followed her. Humans. They are not what we thought. They are clever, adaptable, fearless. They survived where others would have failed. Even Vrek approached quietly. You were incredible. I underestimated you. Kara nodded faintly. You are skilled, but do not underestimate anyone based on what you think, In the dormitory that night, Kara reflected on the tournament. She had faced the best, the strongest, and the most experienced. She had relied not on power alone, but on courage, observation, and quick thinking. She had survived, excelled, and impressed everyone. Lyra came to her again. You're not just good, Kara. You're amazing. Humans. We never understood them before, but now, Kara smiled softly. You don't need to understand. You need to see. Humans are prepared for challenges. We survive by learning, adapting, and staying calm. That's all. The galaxy had many wonders, many dangers, and many opponents. Kara knew one thing clearly. Humans would never be underestimated again. Not now, not ever. She lay in her bunk that night, staring at the ceiling, listening to the quiet hum of the academy. The tournament was only one step. Ahead lay even greater challenges, battles that would test courage, intelligence, and resilience. But Kara was ready because she was human, and humans never back down. The academy's halls were quieter than usual that morning. Students moved with purpose, many glancing toward Kara as she walked through the corridors. Whispers followed her, soft but persistent. Humans were no longer seen as fragile or unskilled. They were different, unpredictable, and remarkably capable. Kara knew the change in attention. She didn't seek it, but she understood it. The knife incident in the classroom, the training exercise, and the tournament hall had built a reputation for her. Not one she had sought, but one she accepted calmly. The academy announced a special exercise for that day, a mixed-species survival scenario. Students would be grouped in teams and dropped into an environment designed to test problem-solving, adaptability, and teamwork. The challenge was simple in words but deadly in execution. Those who panicked, ignored clues, or underestimated the environment would fail. Kara's team was unusual. It included her fellow human, a winged alien, and a four-armed brute known for his speed. Many assumed the humans and the smaller aliens would slow down the group, but Kara's calm presence gave them confidence. She quickly assessed the landscape, a dense forest with shifting terrain, hidden ravines, and artificial weather that could change without warning. Stick together, she said quietly. Watch the ground, watch each other, and think before you act. Everything here is designed to test our mistakes. Her team followed. The winged alien flew above to scout. The brute used his strength to move obstacles when needed. And Kara walked steadily through the forest, her eyes constantly observing. Every sound, every shadow, every movement was information. Soon, a challenge appeared. A narrow ravine split the path. Falling could mean failure or worse, a simulated injury that would end the exercise for a team member. The brute looked at Kara nervously. How do we cross? He asked. Kara examined the ledges and the width of the gap. We don't rush. We test first. Step by step, support each other. One by one, Kara guided her team across the ravine. When the winged alien hesitated, she gave a small hand gesture, showing the safest line. When the brute stumbled, she held his arm lightly, steadying him without slowing down. The other teams struggled. Some fought among themselves, frustrated by obstacles. Some panicked when they encountered hidden pitfalls. Kara's team moved steadily, quietly, and efficiently. Their progress drew attention from spectators watching remotely. Next, the team encountered a series of moving platforms designed to test timing and awareness. Many students tried to jump recklessly, falling off or missing points. Kara analyzed the rhythm of the platforms, noting the timing and sequence. One step at a time, she instructed. Wait for the pattern, then move. Her team followed, moving in sync. They crossed the platforms without error, signaling points at each successful step. The other teams watched, astonished at the human-led group's calm and coordination. During a break in the exercise, Lyra approached Kara again. How are you so calm?" she asked. "I can't imagine staying so collected under this pressure." Kara looked at her and smiled faintly. "On my world, every day is pressure. You learn that panic wastes energy and fear clouds thinking. You survive by noticing, planning, and acting at the right moment. That's it." The final stage of the exercise was a simulated ambush. Artificial creatures, designed to mimic dangerous predators, appeared suddenly, blocking paths and forcing decisions. Many students froze, unsure of how to react. Kara moved with clarity, guiding her team to flanking positions and safe paths, avoiding danger and solving the scenario efficiently. By the end of the day, Kara's team was the only one to complete the exercise without errors. The instructor's three eyes focused on her. Observation. Humans demonstrate a level of adaptability and calm under pressure that many species do not. Strength is not always physical. Intelligence, timing, and courage are just as vital. The other students approached slowly, some hesitantly, others openly with respect. Vrek, the student with the knife incident, stepped forward. I misjudged humans," he admitted quietly. "Not all, but you are remarkable." Kara smiled faintly. "You learn by seeing, not by assuming. Every species has strengths. Humans are just prepared in different ways." By the evening, the academy courtyard was alive with discussions about Kara and her team. Aliens who had mocked humans before were now asking questions, seeking insight, and even requesting guidance. Kara remained calm, moving through the crowd with quiet confidence. She stopped by a small fountain, watching the water ripple in the artificial light. The galaxy had underestimated humans repeatedly. Today, she had shown that humans were not just survivors, they were thinkers, strategists, and unshakable under pressure. A group of younger students approached. "Will you teach us how to do that?" one asked shyly. Kara smiled softly. "I can show you the principles. Observe, think, act. Don't panic, adapt. That's how humans survive, and that's how anyone can improve." Her words spread quickly. By the next morning, many students were adjusting their training routines, trying to emulate the calm observation and precision that Kara had demonstrated. Humans, once underestimated, were becoming a symbol of cleverness, courage, and resilience later. Kara returned to her dormitory. She unpacked her belongings, placed her notebooks carefully on the shelf, and looked out the window at the stars. She thought about the coming challenges, more exercises, more tournaments, and eventually, missions outside the academy. Each would be a test, but none would surprise her. She was prepared, as humans always were. Lyra came by once more, a bright look in her golden eyes. "You've changed everything, Kara. Humans. We never understood you before, but now we do, and we respect you." Kara nodded quietly. "Respect is earned through actions, not words. I simply do what I've learned to survive, to adapt, and to stay calm. Others will learn if they watch carefully." That night, as the academy slept, Kara reflected on the journey so far. The knife incident in class, the combat exercises, the tournament, and the survival scenario all had tested her in different ways. Each had required courage, observation, and calm thinking. Each had proven one thing: humans were more than they seemed, and the galaxy had underestimated them for too long. In the following days, her reputation solidified. Students from other species approached her for advice, for guidance, and even for partnership in exercises. Teachers used her as an example of intelligence and courage under pressure. Kara accepted it quietly, without boasting. She had done what she had always done, survived, adapted, and faced challenges calmly. The academy itself seemed different now. Aliens who had once dismissed humans now watched them carefully. They realized that humans were not only strong in ways others did not expect, but that their calm, adaptive nature made them difficult to predict and even harder to defeat. Kara walked through the hallways one last time that week, carrying her books. Students and instructors alike turned to watch, some in admiration, some in surprise. She smiled faintly, a gentle acknowledgement of the respect she had earned. No words were needed. Her actions spoke for her, and they had changed the way the Academy and perhaps the galaxy viewed humans. In her mind, Kara knew the journey was only beginning. The universe was vast, full of challenges, dangers, and wonders. She would face them all, calmly and deliberately, as humans always had. Every step she took, every challenge she met, would prove one simple truth: humans were not weak. Humans were adaptable, intelligent, courageous, and resilient beyond measure. And that truth, Kara knew, would leave a lasting mark on the galaxy. The sun of the artificial star dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the Academy grounds. Kara watched quietly, her calm presence a silent testament to everything she represented. Where others saw weakness, she had shown strength. Where others saw panic, she had shown patience. Where others expected fear, she had shown courage. And the galaxy, little by little, began to understand humans were not just another species. They were something extraordinary. Kara smiled faintly one last time as the stars of the Academy reflected in her eyes. She carried herself forward, not with arrogance, but with quiet confidence, ready for every challenge the universe could offer, because she was human. And humans never gave up.